Watson doesn't know how to take me. Okay, moving along. The second thing they've done, and this is interesting. This one snuck up on me. As Watson Brown presented by our friends at Simpsons Meats, you ready to treat yourself over the 4th of July
Absolutely.
holiday? You ready to go and get your hooks in some Simpsons Meats? Simpsons Meats online. They'll ship anywhere in the country. They will take incredible care of you. Tell them we sent you. How about this one, Watson? And I want Sean's input on this as well. The second proposal that's going to get through is now you can have your 20 practices anytime. Doesn't have to be in the spring. So if you want, you can take your 20 practices and slide it into the summer closer to your run up to camp. Watson, you're a head coach. I'm going to give you a choice. What would you do if I said you could have your 20 practices at any time? Where are you having them?
I would have less in the spring, probably about 10. I'd not have another 10 spread out. I never liked when we would have 27 practices in 20-something days, 26 days or something, 28 days, whatever it was. You're putting the kid on the field too much. You got to get your practices in, and you didn't have enough days to do it in, so you're never giving them a break. And so I saw where they're getting, I think it's 6 less practices
Yes.
in the August, the preseason, but yet you can practice them a little bit more than that earlier and spread it out.
Yes.
I think that's a fantastic idea. They always said before, Tony, it costs too much money to spread it out like that, to have your kids here and have them putting them in pads and all the different things. And now they don't care about the money anymore. So let's take care of the kids. I always thought that was dangerous, the way we put them out there and not give them enough breaks.
Mini camp, Watson, is what you're talking about in the spring. You'd run like a little mini camp like the NFL does?
I would probably put some pads on that though. In my mini camp, I don't think they completely pad them. They may do it now. I don't know, but I would. I think those 10 days of nothing but fundamentals, and you don't get into your game plans. You don't get deep into your systems. You go out there and block and tackle, and you teach them fundamentals. And I would start with that, and then in the summer, spread that thing out and have me another 10 or so, but spread it out through July and August, and I'm not killing my kids.
Walk me through the thought on that, because I want to get Sean's take on this too. But so you're talking about doing like a little bit of something in the spring. Is the idea there? Because now we're in portal, everything's going to be portal heavy. So you're not going to know what you had. Sometimes you're going to go to the store and shop for something and get it home, and you're not going to like the way it tastes. That's how all this stuff works.
But Tony, it's their call. They can do what they want. If that's what they're worried about, then do more in the spring. Each coach would get to do it the way he wants to do it. And I can tell you right now, I can take players out there for 10 full days of practice and pads, and I'm going to pretty much know what each kid can do. I can tell you that right now. That would be the ultimate goal. The ultimate goal is teach my kids fundamentals and find out who can play. And then we go from there. And what else do we need to bring in or whatever? But as far as the practice, I really like where they're headed here. I hope it passes.
Hey, Sean Sinclair, you were in the guts of one of these back in the day when spring practice was nuts. But spring practice has sort of lost its, I don't know what the term is. This is an interesting thing they're going to attempt to do. It's almost like they're trying to mimic what goes on at the professional level. Your thoughts on this suggested change here, Sean?
Well, I'm going to surprise you. I think they should add more days. I'd give them 30 days, and you can split it up any way you want. If you take a look at spring practice back in the 80s,
right?
You know, there was a lot of, I remember us in the cage handing out shirts that say, I hit for 20, meaning that, you know, I was around for all 20 days in pads or whatever. It's kind of a little reward. I hit for 20 on a T-shirt. But, you know, now spring practice is usually it's missed by a lot of your upperclassmen They have cleanup surgeries. They're nursing injuries. There's so much turnover that you got a new weightlifting coach in there, strength and conditioning. The kids are building themselves back up. It's a year-round thing. Before anyone says, "Well, hey, what are you adding more tax to these kids?" Come on, these kids are millionaires. They're 100,000aires. You got second and third teamers making over 100,000. I lose my sympathy somewhat to the extra work because now you're a professional athlete. But I think that coaches want what's best for them in the fall, and I think they're the best barometer of how, or the best mediator of how to do those little, how, like Coach says, use 10 here, use 20 there, use 30 there, et cetera. Spring practice was meant to be a thing where let's see how tough you are. Oklahoma drills, building the circle, whatever you want to call it. And then, but now it's a lot of install. We're not hitting as much. So I really like it. Another thing is, as students are so transient these days, the more you have control of them, likely the more you have them in some kind of class, working toward their degree. My big concern is with all this movement around. Nobody talks about, how many credits are lost, from these constant transfers. I still am kind of old school. I'd like these kids to get a degree because I think that's going to help them a lot more than, practice or playing football. So just one man's opinion.
Watson, what do you think? He says give them more practices.
I'm not either way on that. Adding a few more, I just want to make sure there's enough time between practices that we just don't go long periods of time with no breaks. That's my biggie. We go out there in August. Now it's even into July, but we go out there in August in the day, and we got to get 27 in 28 days before you play. That's what you get, and you feel like as a coach, if I'm not using my days, I'm losing out here. And they were never off the field. It went too long, and pull muscles and just way too much. You get tired, and then other kind of injuries would pop up. Heat exhaustion. Birmingham was brutal. It's humid and real humid, and we were taking 2 or 3 linemen to the hospital. Wasn't 2 blocks away. We were taking 2 or 3 linemen to the hospital every practice. In those I never felt like we were ever not in condition to go play somebody in the heat, because it's brutal there, more than any place I've ever been. That was the hottest place. So I worry more about that. But putting them in a class, having them in some kind of class, I liked, in my latter years, I had a class to teach them life, how to write checks, how to do this, how to do that. And every freshman had to be in that. So I'm with Sean 100%. One thing I'm worried about, guys, is we're forgetting about education. That's what this started out to be.
It's a joke.
Let's educate these kids. Let them play football. It's what they do good. Let them earn their scholarship by doing it. But when they leave here, let's make sure they got a degree and they're ready to step out in the real world. And this transfer portal scares me to death because you're bringing in so many. They're not there 6 months to a year, some of them, a lot of them.
Yep.
And what's transferring in, like Sean said, how many hours are they bringing in? But that's not the reason they're coming, is education anymore, and that scares me. I'm going to throw out one that I'm 100% behind. I think there ought to be a percentage of transfer portal kids you can bring in, and you have to percentage of high school kids, because I see some of the better schools, bigger FBS schools now signing more high school kids again, which is great. But I think everybody ought to have signed high school kids, and you can bring in a percentage of transfer kids. And that's what I would be 100% behind. Guys,
how about
10,000, nearly 600 FBS and FCS football players in the portal in 2026. 10,600 in the transfer portal for football. My gracious, 40% of those didn't get signed anywhere of FBS players. 60%, over 60% of the FCS players did not get signed anywhere.
when
So
Watson Brown.
this thing ain't.
Yep.
Oh gracious,
Yep.
you couldn't hear all that?
I love it. No,
Tony.
the bionic elbow. No, I heard you. You come with the
Okay.
bionic elbow. You're right.
I'm just telling you, we've got to get back to education, and you can't be on education if you're bringing in high percentage of transfer portal kids. So that's the way I feel about it. I think there ought to be a percentage of transfer portals you could bring in, and the rest percentage need to be signed out of high school or junior college, either one.
Rhonda Hartval says it's a great idea. Nick Jackson says they need to do that, not in the SEC, but the entire country. And that's what Watson's talking about. And you know what that would do? That would force these guys to manage their rosters properly. Because now, one thing Watson said, and see how animate he got? Because one thing he told me early on is there's no more rebuilding. If you make mistakes in recruiting now, you don't pay the price for those mistakes. You just flush those guys, and you go get new guys.
Yes, and that's wrong. That's wrong. That's not fair. That's on the coaches. If they bring in the wrong ones, it's not. You brought them in. If the kid's trying and he's not good enough, I never cut one for that. I never did. Now, if a kid ain't trying or something, I'd cut him. But if I make a mistake and the kid's giving me all he's got in his heart and soul, how is it fair for me to go cut him and bring in another one? So I'm against that 100%. So that I'd love to find a way to control that better.
Cinco, you being a recruit, Nick, talk to me. What do you think about the concept of putting like a mathematical formula together where this is the number of freshmen you have to sign, this is the number of JUCO kids, or can sign. Yeah, that's even better. What do you think, Sean?
I kind of like it. It's with college football, it's unprecedented, but in a lot of places have that. In foreign soccer leagues, you can only have so many, or in basketball leagues, you can have only so many outsiders, because they want to protect the state or the nation's product, and develop those players. I think there is something to that, but my concern with that would be the NIL component, because I certainly wouldn't, if I'm a head coach or an administrator, I certainly wouldn't want to have to pay high school kids big NIL money, knowing full well that they aren't going to be there in 2 years, or I'm just paying a ton of my budget on kids that aren't going to play just because there's a number directive.
Watson, our next topic, and I love, this idea. They're talking about no more soft opening to the season. Here you wait all year, for college football. And these are your week 0 games. You guys tell me where I say a game you're excited about, okay? Stop me. Stop me when I say a game you're excited to watch. This is week 0. The best game on week 0 is North Carolina and TCU in Dublin, Ireland. The next game that's on that day is San Jose State at USC. The next game that's on at 3:30 on ESPN Eastern is NC State at Virginia. The next game that's on is Jacksonville State at North Dakota State, 5:30 Eastern Time. Sacramento State, a.k.a. Sac State, at Eastern Michigan, 6:30 over on ESPN+. Hawaii is at Stanford, 7 o'clock on the ACC network. I forgot Stanford's in the ACC. That's idiotic. New Mexico State at Florida State, 7 o'clock on the CW. And then capping off your week 0 this year, Memphis at UNLV, 10 o'clock on Fox. Watson, just one point here, and that is this. What's the point of that being week 0? Why are you playing any games if that's your schedule? And what they want to do with this proposal is anybody can play on week 0, and let's have a full slate and start the season then. Thoughts on that?
I love week 0. I think just moving the schedule up a week, getting everybody playing. I wish everybody had to play on week 0.
Yep.
And that can give you an open date somewhere in the year, and it would also let you move the playoffs up because I don't like them getting deeper and deeper into the winter. So yeah, I'm a big week 0 guy. You want better games? All you got to do is get ESPN and Fox and everybody to go pay to get better games. If you go to Tennessee and say, look, I want you to, and I'm going to give you a year here to get it done, but I want you to play this non-conference team that's on your schedule, but I want to move it up to week 0. You think they wouldn't do that? Of course they will. They were going to get more money out of it. You want better games, and TVs control that. Just throw the money to these places, and they'll pop it out. If you don't give them the money, they're going to. I would want to open as a coach with somebody I'm better than to get all my players playing, see everybody.
Yeah.
Get all the nerves out of the way quick, and then let's get going from there. So if you give me the opportunity as a coach, I want somebody I'm better than to play right out the gate. But if you're going to pay us good, that changes the whole lot of the thing.
Well, here's my thing. What does the NFL do? Okay, I think about this, right? The NFL takes on their week 0, okay? The NFL for their opener will have a Super Bowl rematch on a Thursday night.
Absolutely.
When they make theirs for a great game. What kind of sport, Watson, takes a fan base that's waited all year for their product and gives them direct like that? Those 9 games, I mean, 3 or 4 of them are kill games. The 1AA game, the South Dakota State game, is the one I would look at. Or, Bri, did they move up a level? Or are they still 1AA?
North Dakota State moved up. I don't know. South Dakota State didn't. I don't
South
think.
Dakota State
North Dakota State
did not.
did.
See, I would look at that. I think that'd be a competitive football game. The other ones, I mean, okay, NC State and Virginia. You know, my son's dating a sweet young lady who's a Virginia grad. They're Virginia family. I'll watch that. I mean, North Carolina and TCU in Dublin, Ireland, I thought we're trying to grow the game. Why would you want to expose a continent to a football game like that? No offense. I mean, what are we doing? But the great Watson Brown. Watson, all right, on the way out here, I'm going to give you your 5,000-mile checkup here. Are you ready?
Yeah.
How much World Cup soccer have you watched, if any?
I've watched only our teams play. Our team play. That's all
Okay.
I've watched.
Got an assignment for you.
Okay.
The next time you see that France is playing, I'll text you when they're playing next. I think it's
text me. Yeah, I'll turn over
Saturday. It's Saturday in Philadelphia. You will see a guy named Mbappe who plays for them, and there's 3 guys on their club. One guy attempted a bicycle kick yesterday, he hit the post with, which was incredible. I want you to tell me the footwork that these guys have in tight quarters. Friend of mine who's a longtime coach and a kind of a soccer hater almost happened to have that on yesterday when this guy scored. And he texted me and said, that is incredible, world-class level athleticism, the way that kid was moving his feet. And, Sean, he's talking about the goal where he put it on the far side of the goal, the first one he scored. Describe that to Watson Brown, because this guy said that kid has great running back feet, Sean, is what he said. He said that guy is so elusive. Describe it to Watson, the goal, Sean, what we're talking about here.
Well, Coach, it would have been like if you were watching a back go through tire drills or ladder drills. He's on the we'll call it, if you're looking at the goal left side, he's going to the end line. He cuts back to the right with 2 defenders right on him. Literally, they could have touched him. And he manages to work the ball through them in tight corners and still in motion, no delay, no nothing, just rockets a shot into the goal. It would have, the balance it took, the coordination it took, were unbelievable.
I got to see it. I got to hunt that up. I want to see that. But as an old man now, Sean, I would go back and say both of my kids were college athletes. So I would go back and say, man, play soccer when you're young. Boy, are you developing your feet and your hips and the athleticism It's boring young, but I would dang sure want my kids playing it if that's, and they both did accidentally, but they did, but not for very long. But I think that is, I don't know if there's a better way to develop, get your feet going and your athleticism going and the quickness and the reaction type things than soccer is.
Well,
Watson,
if you guys
you.
remember, Akeem Olajuwon, just a freak of a center. I mean, he wasn't even a traditional center at 6'10", 6'11", but he attributed a lot of his success to playing soccer early in childhood before he had the big growth spurt.
Soccer
and
goalie.
He's probably I'm sorry.
Yep.
I'm sorry,
No,
but he's
fine.
probably the best. I was there with him. I was at Rice when he was at Houston, so I saw them a lot. And he's got the best feet of any big man I think that's ever played.
He could flat out move. He was absolutely
so
cat quick.
So athletic. So athletic to be that big. So athletic.
The only thing that rivaled him was young Shaquille O'Neal, who could catch the ball and dunk it all in one motion. Those two guys were so explosive. And
in different ways.
Feet.
In total different ways.
Yes.
Shaq didn't have the feet that Olajuwon had, but his brute strength and height and athleticism with that. I stood next to him when I went to Mississippi State and they played LSU and got on the floor, met him, shook his hand, stood next to him. The biggest human being I've ever seen in my life. You don't know how big those guys are until you stand next to them.
If I could give one sports sermon, Watson, it would be this. Parents that are listening to me, if your kids show athletic ability, get them in several sports. Do not specialize.
No,
Let them develop their total body. Don't burn them out. When they're in high school, later in high school, if they want to specialize, when the colleges start showing interest, do it. Fine. And even then, you might want to consider letting them play a couple of sports just to kind of keep them interested and all that stuff. But let the kids play. They're not professionals. Let the kids enjoy themselves. Quit playing into the money culture of this specialization, which all it does is grease the pockets of people. Let them play multiple sports. It's good for them. It's good for them.
You nailed it, buddy. You nailed it 100%. Agree with that 100%.
Watson, I love you. I appreciate you. Thank you.
Love you guys. Always an honor.
And my friends at Simpson's Meats, I want to shout you out because I'm going to tell you right now, they've got a butcher shop located off Level Road. They're unbelievable, Andy. Look, you're going to pay more for Simpson's Meats, but whether it's the chicken or any of the other wonderful fare they have there, the steak is you walk in that place and you give that place a sniff and a whiff, and you'll know that you'll be coming back again and again and again. Online at simpsonsmeats.com. Watson Brown appears on your high noon hotline. On your high noon hotline,